This week is week 3 in our 5-week bread series. We started off 2 weeks ago with the feeding of the 5,000 and thinking about hunger and how to share God's abundance with others. Last week, we dove into the importance of bread as a basic food and the question if we understand the bread of life, Jesus, as basic food for our lives as well. This week, the bread saga continues as Jesus' authority is questioned, because the people around him know his parents. Is this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How can he now say, I am the bread that came down from heaven? We know where he's coming from. So Jesus tells them not to worry about his family background, because that is not the all-defining factor. That is not who he truly is. Jesus tells us, I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats of this bread will live forever, and the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. Now, living bread is what I often refer to when we didn't finish the bread before it changed its color. But I don't think that is the image that Jesus wanted us to have in our heads. The main question of the text is, what is this living bread? What is it in our everyday lives? And how do we recognize it? Growing up, I thought I understood it all. When you do certain things and don't do certain other things, then at some point, pink confetti will rain down on you, and you know will all be good. It will all be good. There were a lot of do's and lots more don'ts, and I tried to live by them all until I reached the point where I couldn't anymore. I was exhausted, and I had lost my taste for what I thought was the bread of life. The bread of life was not fueling, it was eating away on me. It was not strengthening, but instead pointing out that I was lacking, that I needed to try harder, needed to be better. It was just draining. And so shortly before I finished my studies of theology, I was ready to give it up completely. The studies and the so-called bread of life. There was no life in it. It tasted foul. However, some things in my life shifted. Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here. I worked through my family dynamics. I had a handful of very caring and supportive friends around me, and gradually, I stopped applying the do's and don'ts to my life, and I experienced that I was loved without them. And piece by piece, I tasted more of the living bread. This bread is energizing and nourishing. It is strengthening, and it is not attached to conditions. It is free for everyone, everywhere. And it tastes of compassion and empathy, of liberation and inclusion. It tastes of community and equity. When you eat it, it will change the way you see the world. Probably not instantly, but step by step. You'll be changed and realize that what the world around us needs is more of this living bread. So what is this living bread? It's love. It starts out with God's love for God's creation, given freely, unconditionally. And once you've received the bread, this love, you want to share it. Now, is this the moment for pink confetti? No. I'm sorry. This is the moment where our work begins. This is where we are challenged to look into ourselves and ask about the conditions and pre-selections we attach to the freely given love. This is the moment where we are challenged to look around us and recognize the need for love in everyone around us, for everyone and everywhere. And then that leads us to the urge to build a more peaceful, more inclusive, and a more love-filled world. It's not an easy journey. It's not an ever completed one. but it's necessary. I want to close my sermon with a poem prayer by Wendell Berry. I know that I have life. I know that I have life only insofar as I have love. I have no love except it come from thee. Help me, please, to carry this candle against the wind. Amen.